There we go. I should have hit record already. Anyway,
You're recording me
back,
eating.
baby. Huh?
You're recording me eating.
Fucking cares?
I'm just saying, whatever.
Like,
Anyway,
that's not a thing that is known that we do. It is known to us.
true.
Natural thing.
So, I guess, I don't know. I guess what do you want to talk about?
We're side by side. Like, we're talking. It's a
Okay.
conversation. We can talk
Okay.
about whatever shit. I'm just excited. I'm just happy that we're here. Shit.
So hang on. So at the top,
COVID free and shit.
so at the top, if you full screen, there's speaker view.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, I was cycling.
there's gallery. So gallery is the one that you wanted, right? Gallery is the one that will allow you to see side by side. Or it should.
No, we need to get out of gallery view right now because it's doing that dumb shit. It's bouncing back between our faces. Now we're in speaker view, and this is cool. It's just highlighting right now who's talking, who's saying shit. So this recording should record our Zoom as it is on my screen.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go see. When I go to full screen, it's the same. It's got me here talking my shit, then it's got you over there eating your shit.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah.
So, I mean, you sound great.
I know I do.
The fuck out of here.
I don't know. You
sound down in the dumps.
No, dude.
Man. I'm gonna beat up over here. The fuck.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, it. I guess to me, I find it interesting that I guess given this whole like coronavirus thing, that there's like a bunch of different like viewpoints on certain aspects of how to do certain things, but I've also noticed that there's a huge drop in like how a lot of these businesses are like dealing with efficiency, and it's terrible to the point where they're just by dealing with the CDC guidelines and doing it the way that they're suggesting it, which I'm not saying to not do, I'm saying to do that. You also give up a lot of your ability as an organization to also deal with how efficient and how fast are you going to get your customers through their lines. And like, I think you and I realized that this morning when I got into the line for IKEA and I realized, oh wait, it's an hour and 45 minutes. And I called you and you were like, yeah, no, not that.
I was like, motherfucker, you don't need to be in any queues of any kinds until this shit gets better. And they ain't about to be into 2029, motherfucker. So you ain't sitting in nobody's fucking line, bro. And them COVID, I call them COVID pileups. Fuck that shit. Damn that, bro. I got things to do. I got shit to look forward to. I got Ghost of Tsushima to play.
Yeah, I really have to play that. I'm addicted. I'm addicted.
I'm literally just trying to get home alive so I can play some more Ghost.
I'm so addicted.
That's the story of my quarantine. Fuck that.
I'm pretty sure it's the story of a bunch of people's different quarantines.
Got to live. It is perfect. You
know. Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting because I think there's some organizations that do it really well. Like, for example, like Best Buy. I don't know. I mean, the last time I think you and I went into a Best Buy was last year. So I think.
What were we getting?
I don't remember. We were getting something free. Oh no, it was my TV.
Oh, okay.
It was my TV. Yeah. But just I don't know. I remember kind of like going through Best Buy, and it's kind of the normalcy where you don't really have an issue and or a care about kind of distancing and how far certain people are and that sort of kind of mentality. Excuse me. Whereas nowadays, I think people are so focused on the distancing and that sort of thing that I think a lot of the companies are also not paying attention to. Well, okay, if people can't come into the store and you should stand 6 feet apart and all that kind of stuff, like all the positive aspects of what we're dealing with. How do you do that and also make your organization efficient? Meaning, how do you get people through their lines? How do you not have people waiting? And one of the things that a lot of organizations are realizing is, oh wait, they're still standing in line. It hasn't, that aspect hasn't gone away. And I find that very interesting.
I see what you mean. So this is what I was saying, like back in March and April, when all of this shit first went down. When our lives changed for forever. I was looking at those lines outside of Ralph's, and I was like, okay, there's less people inside because they're trying to avoid the pileups of people by creating a pileup of people in this long ass line.
Right.
So it kind of defeated its purpose in that sense. There's a, you know, and I say this shit all of the time, there's going to be a cosmic cost to everything. And so far, when it comes to efficiency, that's going to go out of the window because we noticed even before the
Right.
pandemic went down,
Right.
ain't nobody got no employees.
Right.
You know, like remember back in the 90s, you might not remember it too well, but um
Yeah.
there used to be employees inside of places like at banks. Every teller box had a person in it.
Right. So now it's every other person, or now I mean, I haven't been inside a bank in, well, since all this started, but at least like, for example, at IKEA or at Best Buy or whatever, like now, um, it's every other person, and it's you know
And in some
or it's every
cases,
3 stalls or whatever.
worse, right? Because now it's even less people and even more distance between them, understandably so, obviously, given our current times like this era. But like I said, the bank, hell, if you go to any bank, US Bank, like if you walk inside on any given day, on like a Friday afternoon, everyone's trying to cash that check. It's a line, a long ass line. And this was
Right.
before the pandemic. And there
Touche.
was like 2 employees there
Mm-hmm.
already.
Right.
You know, and that wasn't with regard to any kind of social
Right.
distancing protocol. That was
Right.
just
Right. That was
a
just the
workplace
normalcy.
efficiency bullshit. Right. That was
Mm-hmm.
normal already.
Mm-hmm. So I guess one of the things that I find very interesting is that, yes, the efficiency has gone down for that very reason of dealing with the coronavirus and the 6 feet apart and making sure that you're following those guidelines, which every organization should be.
For sure.
But I think, like, and the reason I brought up Best Buy originally was because Best Buy did something that was very interesting where they did curbside pickup or order from your app or stuff like that. So even though you couldn't go in the store, there was still a sense of, like, I guess, as normal as you can make it, meaning like you could still go into the shop, you can still um do returns, you can still do everything you normally would do, but it's all kind of more of, I guess, as I like to describe it, kind of like the old school drive-in movies.
Mm-hmm.
You drive into the movie theater and you watch the movie. Well, in this case, you drive into the Best Buy and you pick up your shit or drop off or do a return or whatever. So it's interesting how some organizations have adapted to be able to kind of do those things. And then there are some that are just like, here, stand in this long ass line that doesn't really do any different than if we told you to just all go in the store all at once, but whatever.
Schmoshel schmish machine.
Right, exactly.
Yo, I went to a drive-in movie once, right? Dad took us, me, Chuck, Mom, and man, I gotta tell you, that shit was whack. This is why. It was the movie we watched. We watched the first Hulk. It was the first one. Well, there's a scene there when he's fighting poodles and shit,
Right,
giant poodles.
right.
It was dark the whole time. Similar to how it was dark in the Battle of the Bastards. Not the not no, not the Battle of the Bastards and Thrones, but the other battle, like the final showdown
Mhm.
when the White Walkers and shit came. Jon
Right,
Snow himself couldn't be seen, like it
right,
was all black and stark.
right. Well,
Well,
it's
that whole
setting the mood, so
scene,
to speak. Yeah.
yeah. So we were watching this in one to watch something like that.
Mhm.
When we did, I mean, the first Hulk came out in the early 2000s, I want to say. Uh,
Oh, 3,
3. Okay.
I think.
It that shit was not optimized, man, for outdoors viewing. Like the screen itself, the projector, nothing. And we were watching this shit at night at the drive-through. So you had nighttime. It was twilight. Then nothing was illuminating the screen, but the screen itself. The screen was weak as fuck. And I'm watching this fight scene between the Hulk and two poodles and like a, like
Right.
a be a
Right.
beagle or something.
Right.
And I couldn't see shit the whole
Well,
time.
I mean, that's
It's
that's
crazy.
that's that's technological advances and things like that. Absolutely. But like,
Yeah.
I guess I find it interesting that like some people can adapt to the change in the norm very easily and some can't.
Yo, I can't
Um,
see your face right now too.
yeah, I know. I'm finishing eating and I'd rather not the rest of the world see my ass eat for 20 minutes. So,
I'm just making sure there wasn't no technical difficulty.
no. I mean, look, I think it it is the new social norm and it is the new and going to continue evolve um, kind of way we're going to do things moving forward. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But that I do think that there are certain people who kind of get it and go, oh wait, I should stay 6 feet apart. I should do all of these things. And there's a lot of people who say, oh no, it's my First Amendment right to,
Bro, I was about
you
to say
know,
that shit. These motherfuckers, man, with their
I mean, look,
flags and their patriots.
they're
Get your
they're
bitch
not
ass,
wrong.
bro.
They're technically correct. However,
Yeah, but get them the
given the
fuck out of here with
given the
that
circumstance, it's
bullshit.
kind of stupid to say it.
Motherfuckers, we trying to live out here. Like
Right.
we're trying to survive. Fuck your motherfucking. There's my it's my rights and my liberties to
Right.
just be able to bring myself and my
Right.
entitlement into the store.
Or
If you beyond capacity, I'm
or
here to
or
get Angel Soft toilet paper in bulk, and that's what I came to do, and that's what I'm going to do. You're going to let me in without a mask? You're going to let me in without a mask? I have rights. Shut your bitch ass up.
I mean, yes, but they're also gross misunderstanding the
Man,
level of what that is. Like, yes, you have the right to say what's on your mind, but
and they're
also
missing the
like
point, bro.
the
I'm like,
world the
we're
world's
trying
not
to
gonna
keep your dumb
fucking
ass
like
alive
listen to
too.
you.
Yeah, I'm like, bitch, I'm trying to keep your
Like,
bitch ass alive too, and I shouldn't even care too much.
I
But
mean,
I
most
can't have you out here uh breathing your droplets down anyone else's necks.
I
People who
mean,
might deserve to still be here when the shit's
yeah,
all said and done.
most of the time this is all I hear.
Awesome.
That America fuck
Where you
yeah,
just where you just hear people, awesome. You're just like, oh my god,
bro.
dude.
I'm telling you, man. Like, they get up to the front without a mask on, and them motherfucker, like, they be having sentinels out front. Like, nope.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's just like I look, I get it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. They're entitled to believe and do and live however they choose.
And entitled to shut the fuck up and get out of my
However,
face with that bullshit.
however, yes, when it affects my life and the other lives of people that I either care about or that are around me, you can
Exactly.
kiss my ass.
Exactly.
Like,
Yep.
I don't get it.
That part.
Um, yeah, it
I'm
blows
like,
my mind.
motherfucker, you like you about to you about to let your U.S. history course get you killed out here?
Right. So,
You know what I'm
well,
saying?
yeah. I mean, again, to me, it's like it's the people that get it, the people that don't, the people that are willing to follow the rules, the people that don't, and the organizations that are also willing to adapt and expand on different ways of kind of dealing with the efficiency and how to do things and how to not have people wait in line and stuff like that. But
What's hilarious is like it's not even about their survival. Like,
no, it's about
like
the company's dollar. That's what it is.
they're on some kamikaze shit already. So it's like, oh, they're not too concerned about their survival.
I
They're
mean,
about
come
to
on,
accelerate their demise. All right, keep on.
you really think IKEA didn't know that? Oh, wait, when we open back up, we're gonna have a shit ton of people who are now working from home and want to upgrade their house and make it more,
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like that kind of stuff. Like
I
those
noticed
are all
that
the
at
people that are
Lowe's.
those are all
Like,
the people that are going to those kind of stores. It's
like people
because
were
they're
trying to,
working at home. They have the time
well, shit,
to
or just at home and got disposable
right,
income. You
right,
know, so people
absolute
with money.
either or. It doesn't matter.
You know, they've been putting shit off. You know, home improvements. I mean, a lot of cats have had to put that off for years. I was talking to my
Well,
dad about it.
Right.
I was like, yeah.
And now they
Like,
have
he
the
had a friend.
opportunity to do so.
Yeah, like he was like, man, I got a buddy of mine, his neighbor was trying to do some shit to his house for the last 8 years, but you know how life goes. It never stops when you're on that 9 to 5 hamster wheel, just hamster wheel shit, just on this hamster wheel. And for the first time in modern human history, at least as far as I know, got off of the hamster wheel. Everybody did. Wheel got knocked the fuck over.
No, I mean,
Okay, there you are.
what happened?
No, you were just probably just thinking.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I was trying to decide what the hell I wanted to say. You know, it's not like whatever. Fuck you. Look, I don't know. To me, I think that there are certain areas where we've done really well, and then there are certain areas where we've done really poorly. And I think that the fact that people like your dad are able to go out and do those home improvement projects and really kind of do the things that they've either always wanted to do or haven't had the time or whatever that given circumstance may be. Um, it's nice that people have that ability to go and do those things. However, um, it becomes a nightmare when you have 60 people in a line who all went out and bought shit and now need to return it and are standing
Man,
there for an hour and 45 minutes.
I can't stand people in return lines, by the way. That shit irks me.
Well,
Always.
return lines suck anyway.
Well, my thing about it is I'm like, man, it's a line full of motherfuckers who are just poorly. What I see is the poorly informed line, the under researched line. That's what the fuck a return line is to me. Whenever I see a bunch of goofy looking motherfuckers with that dude, like that boo boo the food face, and they sitting there with the like a big box of some shit that wasn't
Right.
what they thought it was gonna be. I
Right.
can't stand that shit. And I'm like, and y'all deserve to be in this giant ass line of returns. Like I'm the kind of person that by the time I pull the trigger on some shit,
Mm-hmm.
I damn sure want that.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
bringing it back unless
Right.
it's literally defective, and that doesn't happen
Right.
often.
Right.
You
And
know
I
what I'm
mean
saying?
that's also depending on what you're purchasing too. I mean, like IKEA would be a very different purchase than if you went to Best Buy. However,
Yeah,
yes, same concept. If you
same concept.
if you're gonna buy it and you want to use it, like, and I would, like, I don't know, especially now if I'm going to IKEA, like I'm gonna measure my space. I'm gonna make
Yeah,
sure that I have all
got
the
so
right
many apps
things
and
versus
shit.
taking it and trying it and then going,
Dumbass
oh wait, it's like
motherfucker.
3 times too small or
Ain't look
big
like
or whatever.
ain't looked at not a near, not a one review nowhere. All the technology, bro. You can survey, like you can measure your whole shit with your cell phone, with your motherfucking
Right.
iPhone.
Right.
You lazy fucks didn't do it. You're
Right.
sitting in this
Right.
COVID-19 pile up
Right.
at the returns line,
Right.
like a fucking dummy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just be at the crib chilling with your shit laid out the way that you wanted that shit to like be laid out, the way you need
Yeah.
it to be. These
Yeah.
unnecessary, unmitigated risks that these motherfuckers are taking drives me nuts. I've always had that beef with the return line and all of those return line motherfuckers. And
It's
that's how
always the return line.
it's always the return line. Like a lot of
It's the
things,
return lines that's fucking people over.
a lot of situations that I see people in, it's just more indicative of their whole personality. Like there's a return line type.
I mean, well,
They always return to some shit. They never
yeah.
do research. They never do that sort of thing. Now, of
Yeah.
course, like there are some people with legitimate issues. Like
Absolutely.
it was good,
Absolutely.
so I'm in this line. You feel me?
Absolutely. Right.
Everybody else,
Absolutely.
it's a whole type. Like
Right.
it's a whole personality type.
Right.
You know, like the one bitch who her personality is pizza.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, like her whole personality is like her dietary choice.
Yeah.
I'm
Where you're
vegan.
just like, oh,
Fantastic.
okay.
Yep, eyes glazed over already.
Right.
Trying
You're
to
like,
get the fuck
great.
moonwalk the fuck up out of here right now. Her
You're like,
personality is pizza.
this
Cool.
is great. This is
So good.
perfect.
This is cool. Yep. Just keep.
Um,
So what would you
yeah.
recommend about those little the
What?
efficiency of like a grocery store or whatever? And like what kind of ideas of cues or grocery store bubbles would you recommend, if
I
anything at
mean,
all? And then we can stop talking about this fucking
Yeah, no, I mean,
Corona
like,
shit.
I mean, like, I don't know. To me, it all depends on. It depends on a couple different factors, but the biggest one realistically is what type of an organization you're looking at. So a grocery store is very different than a retailer.
Yeah.
And then you have technology retailers, and then you have, like a place like Best Buy versus a place like Target, or you know what I mean? So,
Grocery stores and like ground zero for this. Those
right.
probably be most critical.
No, absolutely. So one of the things that I think like that that grocery stores I think tried to do and I think failed miserably is they tried to keep account of how many people were in their stores at a given time. Um, one of the things that Amazon fresh stores do, I believe there's one in Seattle. I can actually check um, that. That store actually has cameras all throughout. So as people walk in and out, and as people come into the store, not only does it track what you buy and what you've actually picked up and put into your cart or put back for that matter, but it also tracks how many people are in the store at a given time, where they are, what aisles they're at, and all that kind of stuff. And then they, at that point, can then gauge how many more people are we allowed letting in, what's our capacity, are we limiting, of all those things. So I think technology like that, um, I think for a lot of organizations is kind of out of reach. But I think moving forward, as kind of the coronavirus and all these things continue, um, I think that more and more of these um, kind of Amazon centric ideas for how to do certain things will trickle down into like standard retail operations, standard grocery stores, things like that, because it is computerized and it's AI driven, but it's also allowing you to either have less people in the store at a given time, maybe have less associates. A lot of these things kind of play into that scenario. And I will say that, and I'll try and find that article, that Amazon Fresh stores were actually doing really well, um, given all of this, because of the technology that they use in their stores. And it was actually just very interesting.
Huh.
So I feel like if if certain organizations would do that, then
The more you know.
I think that would be very helpful.
Learn something new today. Okay.
I mean,
I
I,
didn't realize that.
I mean,
Like some kind of like biometrics.
yeah, some way to, so we have things around in certain like high-end parking structures or areas like
Which is some
Westwood
surveillance bullshit,
or
which
things like
man, I
that.
can't get behind at the same time.
Right, right,
Fuck.
absolutely.
Can't
But
walk through
this
the store.
correct. But at the same time too, to have the convenience of not having to go to a register, right? And the system just knowing what you've taken out. If for example, if Ralph's could mimic that,
They
and you
tried
could,
that, bro. That shit lasted 17 minutes.
no,
They
I
had
mean
the little machine
they
where
tried,
you clickety click,
yeah, they tried the self checkout,
walking
and
around with
and
the
self
store check
checkout's
phasers.
great.
People can't
Yeah, and
even
they did
work
the
the first
phasers,
thing. You know, when you check out yourself, people
right?
don't. People can't do that shit still, and that shit's a decade old
I don't think
at
it's that they
least.
can't do it. I think part of what I think is
Yeah, face
difficult for some
recognition.
people is I think they just can't get over the fact that there's not a physical person there when they're
Um,
checking out.
that's interesting.
Like
So
like
they're not even trying for real to figure
correct,
that shit out. They're like,
correct,
I just need help. Can you help
correct,
me? I need help.
correct.
All right,
Absolutely.
I
I mean,
got
and
you.
that's in technology, and I mean that's in my field every day, all day. It's not
Yeah.
about it ends up not being about the technology or the act of doing it. It's just the fact that they don't want to. And look, as long as you admit that to any person in technology, that's fine. We don't care. But
Shoot.
but the
Spencer's
second you like,
patience.
but the
Spencer's
second you
very
go, oh,
patient.
I've tried, and then it's like, no, you haven't.
Yeah, like you would know. Yeah, you would know more than most because you deal specifically
And then I
with
mean, then
people that
there's
gave
things
up.
like absolutely, and then there's things like Instacart, um,
Mm.
uh, that that does well, but I think the problem with Instacart is I've tried it twice, and it's ever so slightly more expensive than just going to the market.
Is that Instacart like Postmates for lazy fucks?
Um,
Well, Postmates is also for lazy fucks, but
I mean, I use Postmates, and you use Postmates, so fuck off.
I know on those days
I'm just
where
saying,
you're
calling yourself lazy too.
I'm being a lazy fuck.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm
Okay.
not
Fair
immune.
enough. Fair
You
enough.
feel me? Yeah.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
saying I'm a human
Um,
being.
and then
No, but Instacart's like I don't feel like driving to the store.
yes,
But is it like
exactly.
Postmates type fees or is it like more reasonable?
Um,
Like $19 for the
well, it's
delivery. It's like, damn, I spent.
no. So it's dependent on what you're purchasing. So whatever you're purchasing is kind of taxes it out, then gives you your total and that kind of thing. There's a service charge for it for Instacart. What is um what's Instacart's so their delivery fee so for example the main example they give is that it's $139 is your total, right? So Instacart automatically tacks on $6.
Oh, okay.
So which is then waived if you have the $150 annual year membership, which saves you 10%, or the service fee.
Okay.
The service fee is essentially a donation to Instacart so that they can keep using the service, somewhat like the service fee for Postmates is the same thing for Postmates. I understand why they do it, but if I can just go to Ralph's app, get my groceries, and have some, high school senior or whatever bring out my groceries and put it in the back of my car and not have to pay the service fee or anything like that, that's great. Why would I not do that?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. It's just
Really? You fuck
like
me
a
over with the music like that?
redundancy. Man, that was the more you know chime. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's actually a shout out to you. Whenever you illuminate the world as to
The
your
More You Know, the
varied
NBC thing.
and large knowledge base of things in life, I'm shouting out my brother from another mother, Spencer.
Just saying, dude.
The more
I don't know. I mean, okay. Then I have a question for you. As someone who does
did
Postmates and things like that, I think more people than anything have tackled the fact that it's the money used to be great. It's not as great anymore. So
oh
you
man, that
gotta
shit got
work
punched in the face.
right. You gotta work 4 times, 5 times as hard that you used to have to make the same amount. So the question to you is, what from your perspective of having to go into the store or go into the McDonald's or whatever the hell and get the food, what if anything would make your job other than a monetary
Not doing
incentive?
it.
Really?
Yeah, just not doing it anymore.
Okay. I mean, no,
for sure,
that's
but
fair because it's
just no way to. The measures that they took to make sure that the independent contractors could
right,
do it relatively safely,
right,
they've done. There's no other way,
right.
really.
There's no other incentivization for you to go out there and keep doing it, other than the fact that it's kind of like
I can anyway.
right.
So
Well,
it
I know
doesn't
you.
matter.
I know you can't anyway directly to your situation, but I'm saying from a general perspective, like if I guess the point that I'm trying to make is if places like Instacart, Postmates, Grubhub, all that kind of stuff are trying to coerce and incentivize people to come and work for their
Oh yeah,
their
I see what you
things,
mean.
I think.
You need to look. There needs to be right.
I mean, and you
One,
work for them, which is why I'm asking.
they need to factor like when I used to do that stuff. They need to factor in these companies the
Right.
amount of risk that these human beings they're not bots that go and pick up your shit and drop it
No, it's an
off.
actual person,
They're
just like
people.
someone else would get hazard pay.
Yeah. you need commensurate pay.
some type of something
You
to say
need
that
to.
you are
They need
you
to
are
be making more
correct.
money.
Yeah, right. You're
And it
acknowledging
sucks
that, look, I'm
shopping.
going out to do this.
Yeah,
Right.
it's inherently shitty to have to go and grocery shop for any fucking body.
Right.
And that part, like Instacart, I'm curious as to what they get paid to do what they do, because it's garbage. Because you got people who never look at their phone, don't pay attention to the notifications. So I'm sure they spend hella time just wasting time standing in a grocery store, which is ground zero for this pandemic bullshit and fuckery already. So they're already in a hot zone, in a hotbed for germs and shit, right? So they're already overly exposed. Not only that, they're waiting for a response. Look, they don't have the honeydews here. Did you want to check down and maybe do cantaloupe?
Right.
And you waiting on a motherfucker who's
Right.
in his fucking mansion in the hill, ain't
Right.
paying attention to shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so they're sitting there like a dummy,
Right.
waiting for this motherfucker to respond. So
Right.
time for that. The risk that, you know, anyone who's doing that kind of gig economy work has to undergo, because they can't work from home. They're working from car and all
Right.
kind of shit. It's
Right.
bags being grabbed, and you got to hope that the motherfucker who packaged that shit up, who works at the restaurant or whatever, had gloves on, didn't sneeze or cough on that shit, that does not drop some driplets on that shit. And then you got to remember to sanitize along the way en route so that you're not passing nothing or absorbing anything. We
Right.
don't know, but they need to be compensated for those risks.
Right. And so one of the
Taken
things that
care
was
of.
really interesting actually about this Business Insider article that focused more on the Instacart side of that stuff is like, I think the other thing that people don't realize is you like, for example, if somebody's going to spend an hour shopping for, you know, a dozen or so items for you at the grocery store, because you don't want to go and do it yourself, or whatever your reasoning is, doesn't matter. Someone else is going to shop for you. The tip is optional. However, that person just spent an hour or so getting all your groceries and bringing it to your front door so that you don't have to do it yourself. It then behooves you to be a decent person and maybe give them a 15% tip, which is nice. The only problem with that is, by using Instacart and having somebody else do it versus do it yourself, is that you're paying $1,000 annually in tips, 15% on a weekly order of about $150. So you're literally paying someone $1,000 a year in tips to go to the grocery store for you versus doing it yourself. And I'm not saying that these people shouldn't get the tip. If you are lazy enough and you are being a piece of shit to the point where you're just going to sit on your ass and not go to the grocery store and do it, they deserve a tip. And
When
I would
you're
say
able-bodied,
correct.
when your arms and
Absolutely.
legs work, right?
Absolutely correct. I would say 15% nice. I would say 18% or 20% better, especially for the fact that they did what you didn't want to do. You know.
Also, they're,
Go
again,
ahead.
they are, and there are other risks in transport.
Absolutely.
You can die along
Absolutely.
the fucking way. It's
Absolutely.
You're not having to put your automobile on the line. You're not having to put your life on the line, your livelihood
Correct.
on the line.
Well, and
Some
now given the
stranger
coronavirus,
is.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get your Carl's Jr. to you alive. And that may or may not happen.
Right.
So one, the company can't pass the whole buck, right? The independent contractor, the company that they're contracting with or under, can't pass the whole buck on to the customer because they have to hope. The driver has to hope, the contractor has to hope that
Right.
these people don't think that they're a piece of shit, aren't racist, aren't this, aren't that. All these
Right.
variables have to come into play. Or is a
Right.
general good tipper. Hope, because that's the crux, like that's the lion's share of their income,
Right.
because these companies typically pay so poorly.
Typically.
Do pay
Right.
so poorly.
Right.
Because it's like,
Absolutely.
well, you get to keep 100% of your tips. Nigga, that's if I do get
Right.
tipped.
That's right. That's right. That's if a normal, right. Because most of the time
Yeah.
what happens is people are doing it out of the reason to be lazy.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're saying, I'm not going to go to the grocery store myself because I don't want to, and I'm going to have somebody else do it. But I wouldn't tip myself. So why am I going to tip somebody else?
And when you know that you are automatically probably spending times two, especially on food with Uber Eats and like Postmates, like some shit like that.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
already know that you're about to spend $32 for
for
$9 worth of shit
yeah,
already.
right.
So
Yeah,
you're counting your pockets because some people be struggling, but also
right,
lazy, and
right.
they also order food and don't move. So they already have their
I mean,
ducats counted.
we've all done it. I mean,
Yeah, like we
you
spent
know,
way too much. We feel stupid when we get the invoice. Like, damn, that was
right. We're
dumb.
like, oh, damn, we're stupid.
Damn, that
Okay,
was
shouldn't have
$32,
done that. But okay, right,
and I only got
exactly.
$11 in shit. I spent
Right,
times three.
right,
Damn, and then you're thinking about little homie. I still tip for sure because I know what
right,
it's like. But
right.
I'm like, some people are like, man, shit's tight. I'm going to have to say sorry, sir. Thank you for your service, and they ain't
Right,
about to. You know what I'm saying?
right. And so,
You know,
so for me, one of the things that um, I find
they got to
kind
pay
of
on hazard pay, like you was talking about.
right,
You know, hazard pay, but also in general,
right.
respect what it is that they do for people who don't have the means to do it, the ability to do it, or the time. It's
Right.
like, hey, you got to pay for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But don't put the entire onus on the customer, the
Oh
business
no,
that,
no, no,
right?
no.
So it's like, no, they ought to tip. One, they ought to tip decently. And then two,
Well, because you're
cats
providing a
shouldn't be
service,
sweating.
it would be polite for
Yeah.
you to do so. And again,
So
as you pointed out and said, like you're doing the shit that they don't want to do. And yes, we're lazy and we don't want to go out and do those things. But you know what? By having somebody else do it, you're now taking not only your time that you could have done it yourself, but you're now taking somebody else's time to go and do the shit that you don't want to do yourself. The least you can do is give them a tip. And then by not giving them a tip, not only did they make their $4 or whatever it was for that delivery, but they now wasted an hour and a half that they could have been doing to do something else.
getting other
And
bags. Right. It's like, no, I spent an hour at this
right,
fucking grocery store waiting for, hey, they they only have iceberg. There's no romaine left. So what should I do? And then you're waiting 22 minutes for a response. Bitch, get out of here.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, I don't know.
So the tip side, yeah, and then also these companies who have, I don't know, 500,000 motherfuckers on the ground making their business worth
Oh,
a
you're talking
damn.
about, yeah, right.
You need to pay these motherfuckers too, so that they're not praying, hoping, and praying for these tips, because not everybody got all that extra, but they will still place an order. So that way, no one's sweating nobody. It's like, nah, we're okay because what we do is it's a job. Like for some people, this is a job. Like this is a thing that they do, and it's the primary source.
Right,
Like it ain't no side shit.
right.
So you can't throw them side money. Like you gotta allow them to be able to afford some of the same creature comforts that someone else who does another thing and another line of work does. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I
They
mean,
can't be in the car. Yeah.
I think I'm a prime example of that. I'm the person that does another thing and completely opposite of what I guess most people would do. You know, I'm an
Mhm.
IT. So for me, it's very different. Yeah, I have a 9 to 5. It's cush. It's, it's nice. But at the same time
You ain't got
too,
to hustle.
correct. But
Yep.
at the same time too, I also understand that like that, yeah, I mean, I think people forget the fact that they get to a certain level, I guess, in their career or in jobs or whatever it may be. And they kind of forget that the people that are doing the services are the people that probably could use that assistance is the wrong word, but use that extra acknowledgement, I guess, in a certain way where it's how do I say this? It's more
We give a
of
shit about you too. Like you're not
yes,
just
thank you.
a
Thank you.
grunt.
Yes,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Thank you.
Because it
Thank you.
kind of puts the gig worker in some sort of weird hierarchy where you're my delivery dude, you're my delivery person, my delivery boy. Like they
Well, it's
put
like
them
we're
on
all
a whole
16 and
level.
work at that same pizza shop.
Yeah, like just the pizza boy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like, bro, that pizza boy might have a wife and kids.
Well, and
Also
see,
need to eat. And
right.
like sometimes they're in a situation where they're down bad and they're all having to rely on this dude's income.
I mean, I had a former coworker that, when all this happened, he got let go from the company that he was at that time, and they closed their doors, and they're not coming back. And guess what he's doing? He went from,
Yep.
I think, IT manager of a small help desk or something like that. I think that was what his role was. Um, he went from that to doing Postmates, you know. And so I think people go, oh well, he went to get a job. No, no, no. He
They're clearly not sponsors of this podcast, by the way, folks out there
Yeah,
listening.
he clearly like went to go make ends meet, and that's barely. And I know, like, the other thing that I'm gonna bring up is, like, I think a lot of people look at like the $600 extra, right? And they go, oh well, if you saved $600, that's $1,000 a week, or whatever it was. um, and then you can put $250 of that away, and you still have what's left over, and then you can pay your bill and all that kind of stuff. And then,
It's like this motherfucker's a certified public accountant now.
well, correct, right.
Counting
And
my
then,
beans, you don't know what the
right.
fuck I got going on. Shut the fuck
Well, that was my point. My point was
Yeah.
the fact that, like, that you don't know what somebody else's nut is. And to post something and say that the extra $600 kind of inflated and made what I would consider kind of the middle workers, like the $15 an hour, like those type of people, like the Postmates people, um, it gave them an opportunity to make a larger income than they normally would have.
Let me
Which,
pause you right there real quick because
pause.
what you're saying is nice. A lot of niggas ain't working at all.
Well,
And so people bringing
look
in
at
that
us.
15, like, yeah, like that little $15 a fucking hour job is gone, but the bills didn't stop.
Well, of
You know what
course
I'm
not.
saying?
Of course
So
not.
that little $600 that people think are like is extra, that shit evaporates because there's already shit waiting in the wings
Well, I
to
mean,
absorb that.
absolutely. And then,
For a
I
lot of
think the other
people,
thing is that people don't think about,
whose lives have
like,
been ruined.
well, people don't think about the fact that, like, okay, this is going to sound kind of funny, but, like, think about that, IT manager, that dude that used to make, $85,000-$90,000 a year. He may have a wife and kids, and he's probably got a much larger nut than, the Postmates dude. Lot larger. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But the point being is that if he does, that $3,000 that he makes, a month, with the extra $600 of unemployment, people go, "Oh, that's a lot of money." Yes, it is. But for someone who used to be making, potentially combined with somebody else, 7, 8, you know, 6, maybe, who knows? But I think a lot of people don't necessarily take into account that, yes, it has helped a lot of the lower waged workers kind of maybe save a little more money, or just have a little, and that's a great thing. But at the same time too,
I mean,
it
and it's
also,
not just helping them either way because you you got to think a lot of people tend to when their level of income increases for
right,
some reason or another,
right,
these goofy fucks
go and spend it.
increase the amount
Well,
so
of
they
course,
augment
that's
their
very American,
lifestyle
though.
so
That's
their
very
life gets
American.
bigger. Yeah, so
Right,
me, I would be doing, bro, I already got like my favorite restaurants in the tuck. So I'm not about to all of a sudden, like when I come
go
up, start
go
going
try
to
some new shit.
Nobu, eating some bullshit at Nobu or something. When
Right,
no, I'm gonna go over my Thai homies, Exotic Thai or whoever, shout out to them, or Now on Nine, and I'm gonna get my same yellow curry with the chicken. I'm gonna have the same cool ass conversations with the employees because I love them and they love,
right,
and they love a brother back.
right,
One of my same Mexican joint.
right,
You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to get no yacht. That is a big ass boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what people do is they're struggling mightily because if they was making, 200,000 a year or whatever they were making,
right,
well, they got $200,000 a year bills because they kept getting shit and subscribing to shit, and so
right,
their lifestyle they increased as
right.
know, commensurate
Absolutely.
like
And
in
that's
their income. So a lot of those
and
motherfuckers
that's
are,
their
are
fault.
house poor. you know, like house poor. Like, yeah, they are basically they're in a boat and it's got a hole in that
Right.
bitch.
Right.
So
And now, and
their
they're
ability to
living
keep
way
showing
outside of
up,
their means.
yeah, like their ability to continue is just maintaining this you know, this stability. And so it's like I'm just I'm just bailing the water out.
Right. And
Eventually the
so,
bitch will sink if all things go south. And all
well,
things went south.
or if you don't realize, oh, it's sinking, I should probably,
Yeah.
you know,
Tighten some shit up.
assist in getting it to, you know,
Yo,
patch the hole or some shit.
maybe make do with 4 bedrooms instead of 14 or 7. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? With all these
Right.
fucking
Well,
bathrooms,
and
and
that's
you only got one child.
absolutely, and that's part of what I'm kind of saying that I find kind of interesting is that a lot of people are looking at it like that and saying, oh, you know, so and so has new shit because they were dumb and went out and bought stuff and,
Yeah, it's
you know,
like,
whatever.
bro,
And look,
you
I
already had a
100% I
boat. Now
agree.
you just got a way bigger boat.
Right.
Now,
Oh, look. Oh, now you have a wave and a wave pool in the back of your house. Why do you have
yeah,
that? You know what I mean?
I'm like, man,
Like,
just get a regular ass pool like
right,
everybody else and be cool.
right,
It's
right.
just a
Or
puddle
don't
wrapped
have
in
a pool.
plastic.
So anyway, or don't spend the money to create the pool in the backyard in the first place. Um,
Yo, it'd be hot.
so that's true. So anyway, so I, I, I think one of the things that's kind of interesting is that people tend to um, people tend to they look at one side of that situation. So for example, they'll look at the side that we just explained, um, and then
Yo, you done eating?
yeah, I am. Why?
Where's your fucking face at, kid?
Oh, well, all right, hang
Yeah, man.
on.
Got me out here.
So they'll I'm being distracted. Sorry. They they'll they'll spend that money. They'll be frivolous. They'll be dumb. They'll not use the funds in the appropriate way. But then there's a lot of people, myself included, in this situation where we did, and not to toot my own horn, but we did very well outside of the corona. We made $5,000-6,000 or a month or more. So our nuts, as far as what our bills were a little larger than most people. So when
My
somebody
life never
says,
cost that much. Yeah, like my life, just how I live it, just doesn't cost that much.
no, well,
I got bills,
absolutely,
but
but
outside of the bills I have to pay,
well,
I didn't have anything
but
else.
I'm talking about things like, you know, a mortgage payment and
Mm-hmm.
utility costs and just the cost of living, because it's a different, like, you know, it's a home versus you know, a smaller apartment. Anyway, point being is that I think a lot of people are only focusing on the fact that people have gotten money, not that the people that maybe made more money also lost an income
Exactly. That's the point I was making.
in
Yup.
certain ways. Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I know that's where you were going.
Mhm.
Um, and you know, and look, I'm not to say that I'm not grateful. I'm incredibly grateful that I've gotten the opportunities that I've gotten and I've been able to do what I've been able to do. Um, but I also don't want people to think that, like, oh well, um, you know, you all should be saving $250 um, a month or a paycheck to be able to go ahead and do those things. And I think they're not paying attention, or not, maybe not aware of the fact that there are some people that, because they have a larger net, they don't have that money left over.
Yeah.
There is nothing left for them to keep going with. So the analogy of, well, you can use that extra money to save
Yeah, it's
may
like,
not be possible for some
yeah,
people.
like this
And
ain't
that's
no
not
additional
right.
like stimulus money. Like, nigga, is this economy stimulated? Hell the fuck no.
Well,
Have
right.
you like
And see 50
50 million unemployed motherfuckers? You think the economy's doing well?
well,
No.
right. And my problem right now is that, like,
Barely grocery money.
my problem right now is that, like, my
They reduced it to 200, by the way. They passed that new shit, or they're going to, or thinking about it. The last I
I
read,
thought it was 400.
it's like $200. I fucking hope that they at least went, you know what? That's dumb as fuck.
Or
Let's
just split it in
increase,
half, make it 300.
bro. I'm telling you, multiply that shit times 4. That's 4 weeks. Then you get what the fuck you got coming in. If you got zero coming in, what you want to have coming in a month. on top of what you got coming in, and that shit still ain't enough, especially for a motherfucker in Los Angeles, California. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, man.
Yeah. So anyway, so
Anyway, this
it was
is
just it was very interesting. It's a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are very different, and I think I think if we all kind of paid more attention to the larger picture and potentially were a little more open to seeing both sides of the quarter, essentially, I feel like
yeah.
maybe we would have a different perspective. But I think that's really hard because
People
people
are
are
dumb as
people.
fuck.
People are yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, baby boy.
Ooh,
Ghost
okay.
of Tsushima. So right now, I am in seamless segue champion of 2020. Monkey D. Travanti in the house. Okay, so right now don't be spoiling shit. Now you said everyone's adventure is different, but there's I'm
People in my
currently
background,
in
I'm well aware.
yeah, I was like, what the hell? Uh I'm in the Violet Crown, and so I'm on a mystic quest, and I'm about to procure the legendary
The bow.
armor of Tayadori. Tadayori.
Tayori. Yeah.
Tadayori. So I went to the
I think that's how
joint,
you say it.
got in a fist fight with the one broad, you know what I'm saying? Beat her the
Right.
fuck up. I don't
Right.
condone violence against women, but beat her the fuck up because she brought the sword to my neck,
Right.
does it her off. She was like, hey, bro, respect. But go that way. Way the fuck south. So now I'm gonna do that tonight. I'm gonna travel south. Basically put me back on track because I spent about 11 hours doing side quests.
5011.
11. So that's what me and Chuck say, like 11 hours. So doing side quests to
Right.
become a savage of the Budo. I'm
Right.
dope as fuck right now. So
So
now
I have
I'm going south, and it's gonna lead me right into Taka, the blacksmith, who Yuna's
okay.
brother.
So
So that's up next.
I'm done with the story of the game. It's absolutely amazing. I have 2 more of the mystic quests to do, and I think both of those are armor quests. Um, I have to upgrade my katana like 2 more slots. And I have to upgrade the bow a shit ton, and then I have to upgrade. There's a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of
So
shit
many. Yeah.
in this game that I'm like, as I'm playing it, I'm going, damn. Fuck, there's a lot of different like intricate little things, and you're like, shit, do I get this one first, or do I get this one first? Well, I like this one, but then this one looks like it like is better, you know?
Because everyone's samurai is going to be radically different from the other person's. It's going to be based on their personality, how they themselves like to fight.
Yep.
It's just like an NBA 2K where you have a build.
Right.
Someone might be a power dude, one might be super finesse, and he's like slicing necks. One's like a ninja and
Right.
just like be like slashing. And so
Right.
Tonto was really dope. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so that
Right.
Tonto was super quiet and they can get rid of you super fast. And some are just like standoff, bitch. Pull up. Your best dude. Bring his
Right.
bitch ass on. Let's go.
Right.
And just
Right.
destroying the whole village. You know what I'm saying? And I hover between the two. Sometimes I'm not trying to do all of that because it's like, man, this dude's up there in the post, down there, all around the
Right.
perimeter, and then in the center. I'm like, I'm going to knock out the perimeter. No one's going to know.
Right.
And then I move into the interior once I know that it's just a few dudes left.
Right.
And then I do it that way. But oftentimes, if it's a small outfit on the outskirts,
Right.
I'm just blowing right through them. Pause.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's most of the case with how I'm playing too. One of the things that I found kind of really interesting is I have the deluxe edition.
Oh yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
So I have the I think it's the Legend of Tsushima or whatever. It's this armor that's like blue and white and it's like samurai kind of looking, or the hero of Tsushima. It's kind of cool.
Samurai kind of look.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you are a samurai,
so and then there's an armor kind of later towards the game that's like kind of more ninja esque. That's really dope. And then there's also like kind of, I just found out there's these interesting like kind of little side things where there's a white dye armor or a black dye armor. So
Yeah,
or
black might be it.
so
Because I thought
what?
about wearing lighter colors. I'm like, bro, I'm always covered in mud and blood.
Well, so one of the things that's really interesting is
So,
that I noticed that there are certain outfits that if you have it, you can make it white. There's certain ones that you can make it black, but you
mm.
can't choose. Like you couldn't go to like whatever armor you wanted and make that color. They don't
Oh,
let you. It's like
like
it's specific.
the RGB pops up and it goes mini, 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 mini. Like
No, no,
color
no. It's
points,
this is
like
no. This
customization
is
like that.
no. This is more of a person that's in the game. It's an NPC that you walk up to, and they'll either dye your armor white or they'll dye it black, um, or pure white or pure black. And you can go up to them, and when you go to the menu only gives you an option for the ones that he is allowed to upgrade, meaning he just can't upgrade and change all of your armor sets, every single one, to black. There's only a few, just like there's only a few white ones that the other guy could do. So it's just
That's the beauty of this game,
it's
right? So
interesting.
it gives you more because you know what that means. It's like, oh, okay, but I want to be able to do more customization things. I want to be able to choose a different color. Well, play some more of the game, enjoy some more of the journey, do some more quests, get your motherfucker stronger, get this, do that, help this
Yeah,
person. You know how to do it because you being a citizen of this world is your currency. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I mean, it just the
Yeah.
game is just really, really well done. There's a few little things that like piss me off, but it's fine.
I'm just enjoying. I'm
It's
not
no,
even looking at it like,
it's no, it's great.
no.
No, it's
I'm
great.
just
I
like,
mean,
bro, this
and
shit
I know
just,
you and I are gonna play later and talk while we're doing that shit anyway.
yeah, it's just one of the greatest
Um,
things I've ever.
yeah, it's just it is what
I'm
it is.
only like 7%. So I've done so many side quests
Right. That's what you
that
said. You
I'm only
said there
like
were a bunch of side quests.
7%
Right.
into the store, like
Right.
into the thing
Right.
per the thing on PS4. You know, I told you how many trophies and shit you doing was basically story based. That
Right.
excited me because I'm like, my dude, man, is really coming along in a major way.
Right.
So he's going to be kind of OP'd
Right.
when he's fighting these fools because I'm so
Right.
early in the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hyped.
Well, I don't know. I think some of the times um, I think certain games kind of like are very good at kind of sucking you in, and this is one of those where I mean I told you I
I
bought it.
resisted.
I
I had to
bought it.
resist.
I bought it. I texted Chuck and I
Mm,
was like, bro,
bruh, Chuck
so
was
good.
like,
And Chuck goes, I know. Did you tell Vonti about it? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, I already talked to him about it. And I told him he needs to go get it. And I was like, oh, where are you? And then we just went on this whole tangent. And it's funny because when even Chuck and I made a comment as Chuck was talking and he agreed at the end, which was kind of like a lot of games today don't kind of have that effect that certain
oh,
games
only a few
back in
games
the
in the
day
history
did.
of our
And it's nice to have
lifetimes.
one of those. Right.
Like, I was trying to compare it to like, a Super Saiyan, how, back in the DBZ storyline,
Right.
they only came about once every 10,000 years
Right.
would be the window of time
Right.
where you start seeing Super Saiyans. And
Right.
then
Yep.
after that window closes, you stop, right? That never happened, of course, but um, plus they never told you when that window would close. But they said, well, 10,000 years has passed. And so now, yeah, you're going to start seeing motherfuckers with blonde hair and
Right.
green eyes
Right.
for a while.
Right.
And then it's going to shut back off cosmically. It's kind of the same thing how I haven't felt this way about a thing, man, since like Final Fantasy
Right.
7 and 8.
Right.
Seven more specifically, even though I
Right.
loved 8.
Right.
It's been that long since I felt this way.
Right.
And
I
it's
mean,
super refreshing.
yeah. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed kind of the fact that like that absolutely that this game is very it sucks you in and you're very consumed in its
Your
world and it's
emotions,
right.
man, and
Right.
the relationships and
And I
the
think
culture, like Japanese culture, man.
right.
You have like
Right. And then what happens is somebody like me goes off on like a 2-hour tangent and wants to learn about samurai and ninja and like what happened. I mean, I remember what happened with the Mongols, but like in more detail, you know, like it
Read
just,
the Book of the Five Rings by
I have,
Miyamoto Musashi. Yeah,
I
like,
have,
and so now you're like, I'm literally living out
right, right,
everything that Musashi Miyamoto was
right,
talking
right.
about,
You're like,
and
oh my God, this is so cool.
and you're
Right,
understanding right-mindedness and all
right,
kinds of shit, bro.
right,
And the music, the
right,
score,
right,
all of it envelops you. And then you have this contrast, the stark contrast between peace and
right,
absolute war. And so the
right,
game is beautiful all the way through,
right,
but it doesn't have to be nighttime to horrify you
right,
because you're just walking and it's in the, like you're in a beautiful meadow with
right,
flowers and shit,
right.
collecting bamboo and shit.
Hmm.
And then like you go to like you follow a
Yeah, you get
yellow
lost in its
a
world,
guide
and
bird.
that's, yeah,
Yeah, but like you walk by and it's beautiful and it's daytime. You see uh like the
the
rays of
trees and
sunlight
the right and the
penetrating the
leaves
trees,
and the
creating
right,
rays, right?
right,
But then you walk by heads on a pike.
right, and you're like,
You
oh
see
shit,
blood, like blood on the ground, blood in the dirt, bodies everywhere around you.
right,
It's an immediate contrast. It's like, nah,
right,
motherfucker. Yes, it's beautiful, but it's also hideous. Look at this
right,
world,
right,
you know?
right. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a very interesting kind of thing to me, and I I don't know. It was just fascinating to me. I mean, it's been a long time since I've played a game that sucked me in like that, and it's nice that this is it because this is I think it's the last PS4 like exclusive PS4 game other than like some another game that'll come out Christmas or whatever, but it's an exclusive PS4 game that it's the last game that they're doing for this console generation. I have to say, they went
They
out
did it.
they went out with a bang. It's a great game.
Shout out to Sucker Punch.
Yeah, it's a great game. And there's a bunch of like Sly Cooper references in there that are pretty funny. And there's like I think it's a headband. It's a headband that is the Sly Cooper logo with the gold like hook.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I never
So
played. So that was a PS2 game.
that was a PS2 game. That was one of the
Never played
PS2's
Sly Cooper, man.
biggest. That was one of the PS2's biggest like things was Sly Cooper.
It was
Um,
along the same lines of like
I think
Jack
there
and
was
Daxter,
4 of them. Let me actually.
like a Jack and Daxter.
Um,
Not the same
yeah,
game, but in
kind
that
of,
vein, like that action,
kind of.
comedy, action adventure, like Conker's Bad Fur Day, but not as bizarre.
So Sly Cooper came out in September of 2002, and the last game was February 5th of 2013. And so there are, let me see, there are how many games? 1, 2, 3. There are 4 games. Yeah, so there are 4 games of this franchise, and I have to tell you, I played one funny enough the other day, and it's still fun.
Mm.
Like it looks like shit, but it's still fun.
That be the best game sometimes. Like I'm telling you, uh, as like as Chuck, growing up, like my favorite game, party game, me, Chuck, Alan, Adrian, like
Yeah, yeah,
of the street,
was.
we used to play Poi Poi. They
Oh
always
God.
found these bizarre games that were like from Japan, but
Right,
they used to
and then they
find the
would buy them for
greatest
like
party
$5.
games. Yeah, like they would find the best party games of all time. Like they would go to
Right,
Funko Land and find this shit.
right,
Poi Poi, I've been looking for ever since, man. It's one of the most fun games. I don't give a shit about the graphics. I would play that shit
right,
today.
right.
One of the best games I ever played in my life.
Yeah,
Fun.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I think it's really interesting, and um, I think a lot of people kind of, I don't know. I think I think certain people kind of look at video games and like don't really care, don't give a shit, kind of like my girlfriend, but um, or like probably most of our parents. But I think I think video games is a really kind of fascinating medium to kind of get lost in worlds that you can't anymore. I mean, like you can't go to feudal Japan like that. Yeah, you want to like read a book or watch a movie, sure, but to be interactive in a fleshed out environment is a very, even though it is kind of two-dimensional, meaning it is on a screen and I am like looking at the screen.
bro.
I'm still enveloped in the world.
I have surround sound
Absolutely right, and that's the
headphones,
other
bro.
right.
I'm there.
Right.
I'm faded with my headphones on,
Faded is a keyword.
bro. Faded. I'm all the way there. I am in there. I am inside of there.
Are you in there, Doc?
I am in there. I am
Yeah.
inside of there.
I know.
You
I know.
know what I'm saying? I am in
I
the
know.
zone.
I know.
You know, and the timing was so important to my life.
Right.
And I'm sure to yours. Like
Oh,
you just mentioned,
absolutely.
there's nothing like, especially in quarantine and lockdown, to be some fucking place else. I get to go to Japan whenever I want. Feudal
Right.
Japan.
Right.
All substantiated by this book. Two
Yeah.
books. The
I
Book of the
mean,
Five Rings and then this other one I read. I got the title right now, but I'll
it's
let y'all
just
know.
it's a
So happy.
it's a really good game, and then it's a nice envelopment into that world that I think normally otherwise I wouldn't have been able to go to, and it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily 100% historically accurate, but that's fine because it's not. But I don't know, dude. It's nice. I really don't. I don't have. I don't know. There's nothing bad that I can ever say about it. There's a couple scenes. There's a couple scenes in that game where I'm
Except for
like,
that snooty
damn.
shit you just said. Oh, snooty
Well,
ass comments. And
I'm just. There are, dude. Okay, there are a couple issues and glitches that like are annoying, but
You come
whatever.
right out of a comic book.
That's a damn shame.
I have a bad feeling about this.
So I don't
That's
know.
all.
It's just whatever. But I love the game.
Yeah.
And then I like kind of as you like upgrade, you know, Sakai, as you upgrade him, like you can tell, like, cool, I can one shot some
Sakai-jin.
dude with an arrow, like
Mhm.
dope. Or like, you know, you can like stand off and kill two people at once.
So I made sure I made that a part of my dude's build
Yeah.
because right off the jump, I got motherfuckers horrified. Like, did he just do? He did what?
Yeah, and then they like freak out and like
It fucks up their
drop
whole
to the
approach.
floor, and then you can go up and just go.
Like he just did what? That's
Yeah.
I wanted that effect. I want
Oh, yeah.
motherfuckers to know, like, yeah, you see how Sheen swanged
Yeah,
two of you folks? It's about to be chitty chitty bang bang.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
I'm trying to get rid of that motherfucking
nah, bro.
Family Feud buzzer bullshit.
It's just I don't know. It's really interesting. I highly recommend it. If anyone hasn't picked it up or got it, or it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I get codes for games all the time. I mean, because I stream and do that kind of stuff, so I'm used to kind of like playing that stuff. I loved Fortnite when it was out. It was great. It's gotten real old real quick.
It'd be like that.
You know, Overwatch was fantastic for a long while. CS:GO is still great.
By the way, folks, this is one of my best friends in the world, the incomparable Spencer Frankel, who also has a podcast and shit. Shout your shit out, man. You're at socials and shit. And then we're gonna get on this game here in a couple hours.
So it's gonna be Ventrilo wins at Twitch for right now, and then probably moving to YouTube soon.
Okay.
I've
How
had
do
a
you
couple
spell that?
issues. What?
How do you spell
Oh, the name
ventriloquist? No one's ever heard that shit before in their lives.
VENTRILLOWINZ.
There it
And
is.
that's at Instagram and at Twitter as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so I do stream. It's I'm a nerd, so I do it anyway. It's fun. But there hasn't been a lot of games that like I've really this past year or even this year have gone.
It's
"Oh,
all
yeah,
about
no,
ghosts, baby
It
boy.
was really great.
We ain't about to talk about no other bullshit but ghosts.
I mean, there's you know there's like
So-
Spider-Man and shit like that, but those are all PS4. There's one game actually called Void Bastards, that was quirky and kind of fun. But again, I don't think games are designed in the same way with that same longevity that they used to. So
Everybody subscribe. Everybody set your notifications to let a motherfucker know so that
Right.
when I drop the next episode, including this one, you automatically get it. You can automatically enjoy it.
Yep.
Also, you can email me any kind of content, inquiries, you name it, all that shit and whatnot at iMeaanpod.com because the name of the podcast is I mean, it's 3 A's. IMEAAAN. That's it. Simple as that. imeanpod@gmail.com. Holla at us. And we out. And I'll see y'all soon. Yeah, so subscribe and all that shit. Leave a 5-star sterling review because the algorithms need to be jumping, babies. All right. Peace. Spencer,
Peace out,
thank you
guys.
so much.
You're very welcome.
I love you, brother.
You love you too, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Hey, you do the same.
Peace.